Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, with the Sunshine State Real Estate Investments team, and of course, LPT Realty. We are here to bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. So excited to have some amazing people in the studio today. Two of them I know very well. They are just this powerhouse couple. Of course, it's like when you meet another female that's just as boss as you are, you're like, real recognizes real. She's just that type of person. She does not want to be on air today, but the first person I'm going to let you know is in my studio is Miss Siri Colley. She is just a firehouse. She brings the fire to their team, their real estate company. Just absolutely adore her. We're going to have the privilege today of actually interviewing her husband, John Colley, who not only does Team Colley, their real estate team, but he also does Real Estate Virtual Academy. And what's very special about their team is they really help people get into real estate on the front end, bring them on their team, train them up, and then on the back end, they actually sell real estate themselves. So without further ado, what's going on, John?
Hey, Betsy. Yeah, everything's going well on our end. The real estate school is kicking. We are actually not only in the state of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, but we're getting ready to move into the state of Tennessee, Illinois, and then we're going to move into the Carolinas as well as Virginia. So the school is doing well. Our real estate business is doing well. Everything is really good. We have challenges, but you just overcome them every day.
What I love about your post the other day is, I got really hyped when you said you got the license for Illinois.
Yeah, that was a tough one because to every state we go into, we have to be licensed not only as a real estate instructor, but also as the school as well. So it's a long process, and Illinois was real tough because to get a license in Illinois as a real estate instructor, it's actually a managing broker's exam. So I don't practice real estate in the state of Illinois, so to go to a managing broker's exam and be able to pass it, that's a real challenge.
You want to know a secret, John? So the real estate test in Illinois is actually state and national, where Florida is just state. So you want to know what? You only also can take it 4 times. So listen, man, I took it 3 times, failed all 3 times. I didn't even take it a 4th time. I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, I can't be vice president of our company and you got to get a broker's license. So when I saw you got it in Illinois, I personally was very happy for you because a lot of people don't know that. So the factor that you're going that extra mile to be and teach and do, and don't forget before you leave, I want to plug you in with a lot of real estate groups. My biggest mentors have a RE/MAX group there with 450 agents in it, and they're constantly bringing people in. So we'll talk after the show. But I also love that with you today, again, some people don't know this about Siri. She's super fiery. She's like me. Some people either love us or they hate us. But today she's like, I want to take the back seat and let a lady on my team who has 11 years been ride or die with the Team Colley, Miss Carolyn Vaughn is in the house today. How's it going, Miss Carolyn?
Good, Betsy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so exciting. I just love the Colleys again. They really take the process from start to back. And I heard from a birdie that you've been with them for 11 years.
I have. So I met John and Siri. If I can tell, it'll be a quick story.
Yeah.
So I was in the market for a new house, and my mother-in-law and I were at a restaurant, and someone in the room overheard us talking about houses.
Siri.
Of course.
And introduced herself to me. And I got in the car with my mother-in-law after. I said, do you ever feel like fate just intervened? And we have been friends first. They helped my husband and I through the process of building our home, encouraged me when I approached them about going into real estate, and friends, colleagues, family.
I love that. I think it's really crazy when you're out in the world, you know who is who they say they are. And that, it absolutely describes Siri. If she has something to say, she's going to say it. If she wants to do something, she's going to do it. Like, she's going to make that happen. And I think closed mouths don't get fed. And so sometimes when you don't take the opportunity and embrace it to create a connection. So in that, for all the realtors out there listening, she took a conversation from a real estate transaction to bringing someone into real estate, mentoring them, putting them on their team. And then not only that, now creating this longevity. And I think it also shows, you know, who Team Kali is as a person. When you can keep people around you for 11 years and you haven't run them off, that means they're real people and they really want to help you. So I love that about the Collies. Absolutely. The Collies also have another special guest in the house today, which is Mr. Jimmy Ward. He's with Class Act Inspections. And we're going to call Jimmy Jimmy because he told me that his mom calls him James when she's mad at him. So what's going on, Jimmy?
Not much. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah. So the inspection piece is such a critical part of the real estate transaction, right? Because we find the property, but like me, John, and Siri, no matter how good we are, we can't see behind the walls and we're not going to totally pull off the electrical panel. So how did you get into inspections and why?
I got into it about 13 years ago. I have a degree in architectural design. And when the market bottomed out and I couldn't design houses anymore, I got hired by the banks to go inspect them. And then I opened up Class Act Inspections and just started my own thing instead of going back to work for a company.
My favorite part of this show is that no matter what you guys send into the staff about who you are, I learn all of these cool, crazy things. And one thing we talked about this weekend on the Invest Tour is like where people started. And they started with working with people, kind of learn the ropes in the game, and then branched out to be an entrepreneur. So what is your prime market with Class Act Inspections? Like how big is your company? What do you do?
So we run from Orlando all the way down to Cape Coral, and we're not just an inspection company. We have a pest control company within, a mold remediation business, a marketing company, and a carpet and tile cleaning company.
That's pretty sick, man.
I wanted to make sure when we opened it and started this that people like John and Siri, they didn't have to call in another professional during the transaction. They just call us and we take care of everything.
Yeah, it's really annoying as an agent when you call an inspection company and they go, yeah, we don't do the WDO report. Because as you know, with these FHA and VA inspections, it's a situation where we have to have that information to make the transaction work.
Yep. And then you also get a solution if something pops up with us.
Well, I also think it shows your level of education, right? Like you have created this ecosystem to be a one-stop shop.
Yep.
So kind of also talk about the licensing involved with being a home inspector.
Licensing can get intense. So you don't have to be a plumber, you don't have to be an electrician, but you have to have enough knowledge on everything in the house to give the client a good report or idea of what they're investing in. So you have to have extensive knowledge in the whole building process and the whole building envelope of what's going on in there. So education-wise, when we take new inspectors that go to school, they train with us for a year before we let them go. So it's an apprenticeship. And then not to mention the licensing through FDACS, which is the Florida Department of Agriculture for the WDO portion, and then the Department of Health for the radon and mold. And it goes on and on. It's never stopping. Like it's continuing education constantly.
I love everything you just said. I think that's amazing. And I think it's so important for buyers to know that you need to connect with a good realtor such as John, who has resources, because if you use an unlicensed inspector, you know, your reports are not valid and the transaction could go really south. If any realtor is looking to connect with a good inspection company or any potential buyer out there, could you give everyone your phone number?
Absolutely. The office number is 813-512-6918. And then you can always go to our website at www.classactinspections.com. Add another W that I've forgotten there, and it'll take you right to the page. And you can book online or call, and we have a full staff. Like I said, we cover pretty much the whole state of Florida. We're branching out to Georgia this year, and we're going to move up to Georgia and Texas.
Love that. Ms. Carolyn, if anyone is looking for a local realtor in our area, what is your phone number?
My phone number is 910-263-6918. 7606.
And John, if anyone's looking to get information on the Real Estate Virtual Academy or wants to connect with you and Team Collie, could you give your phone number?
Yes, for the Real Estate Virtual Academy, it's 904-990-7382, which stands for REVA, REVA, Real Estate Virtual Academy. If you're interested in just going ahead and doing a self-registration, you can go onto our website at www.realestatevirtualacademy.com. If you're looking at real estate, you probably don't want to call me. You'd probably want to call Sari. You can reach her at 813-766-2009. But if you do want to talk to me, you can reach me at 813-481-0588.
I appreciate all of you guys for coming today, all the listeners out there. We're going to take a deep dive in segment 2 on just the whole process, like how you get into real estate school, why it's important, what it was like for Carolyn when she first started her career in real estate, how you scale your business and grow, and of course, why it's important to have people on your team and creating your team, such as Jimmy Ward with Class S Act inspections, because if you don't create that ecosystem and that team, one, you're not providing your clients a good service, and two, for all the buyers and sellers out there, if you're not working with a real estate team that has those services in place, they probably don't know the business full circle and they're not servicing you appropriately. Again, we want to acknowledge all of our listeners out there. We thank you for listening every single weekend. Do not forget to download the iHeartRadio app, pop in those earbuds, and we will see you after the break.
The best comp plans ever in stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless, because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home, and we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin. So excited today that LPT Realty allows us to not only have real estate agents on the LPT Realty team, brokerage squad, whatever you want to call us, but they also allow the realtors to bring in community members to help promote people that they do business with. And of course, Team Collie is really great with bringing people in from their ecosystem, promoting people that they work with, all of the above. So today I have John Collie with Team Collie and the Real Estate Virtual Academy. I have Carolyn Vaughn, who is a member of Team Collie's real estate team, a local agent in the Tampa Bay area. And then, of course, I have Jimmy Ward, the person that they use for all of their inspections, mold testing, radon. They do everything. WDO, all the above, licensed inspectors, and also they have a nice little apprenticeship program if you're looking to be an inspector. So Jimmy Ward with Class Act Inspections. John, I'm definitely going to turn to you because I think what's really cool about your team is you created this Real Estate Virtual Academy to really help people who want to get started in real estate. So what does that look like, and what is the Real Estate Virtual Academy?
Well, the Real Estate Virtual Academy was created because we decided we need to have a hybrid way of being able to teach. It's taking a live classroom and combining it with an online presence. It's not streaming. Streaming would be that it would be at the same time you have to log in and be on the course. This is a course that's designed that you can go and log in at any time from anywhere, from any device, and be able to have a real instructor teaching you real estate. It is the first of its kind in the state of Florida. It is taken off greatly, and like we alluded to earlier, we are now in Alabama and Georgia as well as Florida, and we're getting ready to roll into Tennessee and Illinois and then into the Carolinas and Virginia. So it actually started really quick. Is that I had a student on a live class one time come to me and says, John, I got it when I'm sitting there in class, but as soon as I walk out the door, it leaves me. He said, I really wish I could carry you wherever I go. And so that's what sparked the interest of the Real Estate Virtual Academy, to carry your instructor wherever you go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to learn real estate.
That's great. I think that what's awesome about what you do too is just the platform that's available for people. I think that anyone out there looking to get into real estate, I know that you can go on Groupon and buy a Groupon and take a class, but I think it's really important the way you're taught, engaging people, because as we know, a lot of people sign up to take a real estate class and they don't finish.
Mm-hmm.
And so the platform you're providing encourages them to be able to finish, whether they're full-time at another job or working part-time or want to just bang out the course in a 7-day time period, correct?
Yeah, well, the state allows 1 year to be able to complete a course, and we allow that full year because you do have some people that can knock it out within 10 days, and then there's other people that, because their job and schedules and family and everything else, they really need that extra time. So this way here, when they log off the course, if it's a month later before they can log back on again, they're starting right where they left off at, so they never miss a beat. So it's a great way for them to be able to get their real estate license. It's flexible, like it's an online, but it has the greatness of having a real instructor actually explaining the course to you. And then if you don't really understand it, you can always message your instructor straight from the course platform, and your instructor will actually answer your question for you.
I love that. And so the Real Estate Academy is great because basically you have this Real Estate Academy. You can help people get into real estate. But then the real question is, what do I do? How do I get leads? How do I work my sphere? How do I get in relationships with people in the community? And so Team Kali was kind of birthed. And that's you and Siri, your wife. And you guys both actively sell real estate. And my opinion as another real estate team lead is that I think that there's great people that sold real estate back, in 1997, and they teach and they train now. But what I have respect for with Team Kali is that you and I are much the same in that you are actively still selling real estate.
Absolutely.
So you have changed with the market and evolved with the market, and you actually teach what's happening right now. So tell me about Team Kali.
Well, back to the Real Estate Virtual Academy, being a real instructor teaching real estate, what you want to do is you want to be able to make it a real world scenario when you're teaching. One thing is that the student understands better. So with the experience that we have in the years of real estate, I'm able to reflect that into the students, and the students relate to that. When someone gets their license, even though they're not experienced in real estate, they have a better understanding of what they're actually getting into. And the more that we can do that in real world through the Real Estate Virtual Academy, when they hit the streets at a brokerage firm, they're more easily trainable because they now have a real general good understanding of what it takes to be a successful real estate agent. And then the broker can enhance that through their actually on hands, either training or through mentorship.
I love that. And so then Team Kali is born, and then Carolyn Vaughn is born. And you meet Siri at this restaurant, and she hears you talking about this house. And basically you get walked through the process. They help you purchase this home and do all the great things. And then you decide to get your real estate license, and you attend this academy. You get your license. Now you're on Team Kali. So what is that like? And what do you do? What is your specialties? What are your niches?
So I coined a hashtag, and the hashtag is I learned from the best. And I feel very privileged to have had John and Sari as mentors and team leaders. John has a way of really walking you through the process and not telling you the process. And I've always appreciated that. One of the things that we connected on is John has a military background, and my husband is retired military. So one of my specialties really is military relocation. I work with a lot of veterans as they PCS and referrals throughout the country, actually, to different military installations and having a realtor network connection.
I think that it's really awesome, Carolyn, just to see the vibe in the room between a team lead and their agent. I kicked off the show. I know Siri's going to kill me, but I had to introduce her, and I wanted her to speak, and I'm trying to push her to do the show, and she throws her hands up and she's like, no, I want to feature Carolyn today. And I think that is amazing to see that relationship. I also know in segment 1, when I asked you about the Collies and how you met them, just kind of you walking through that development process. And I think in anything that we do and we find passion and purpose, it's important to have that relationship. And LPT has that culture as a whole. You know, Team Collie has that culture as a whole. You know, I got to meet Sarah and John, and they showed up at every one of my classes, and we show up at each other's brokers' opens. And I think in this community, people look at other agents as competition, and we're not. You know, there's so much real estate to sell. So I love that I have you on the show today, and I can't wait to get to know you a little bit more as we are in the same community. Jimmy, we're going to wrap it up with you for a second. I want everyone to know we'll dive deeper into segment 3 with you because obviously I only have so much time. But why partner with good real estate teams? Like, why is that important to you to have a long-term relationship with real estate teams and partner with them?
Care of their clients, and that's what our job is to do, is to make sure that the client is being well taken care of in all aspects of the buying process. We're the last point of the decision. Is this a good financial decision? And when you have real estate agents that look after their clients as well as John, Siri, and Carol do, it's important because that's our job, is to make sure that they're being taken care of. And when you have agents that care as much as you do, it makes the process work so much smoother.
I think that that's awesome. I think that was a great description. I think you guys are a huge piece of the decision. And I think it really helps realtors guide their clients appropriately when they get that report. I think also just the new technology and different things that you bring into the piece. Do you have that little piece where you can like make the checklist, make the little repair list that we want to request? I love that. It's my favorite tool.
Our reports are delivered on site too. So that's another big bonus too. They literally, before they leave the house, usually have the report in their hand.
Wait, hold on. So you're standing there, you do the inspection, and then the realtor says, when are we going to get the report? And you go, right now.
Open your email or let me get to my truck to upload it for you.
That is amazing. And then what does kind of cost look like for you? Like, what is a full inspection report with a WinMid, a 4-point? Do you have different packages?
It goes by square footage mostly, but I would say starting between $400 for a full home inspection, WinMid and 4-point, and then adding on whatever you feel is necessary during the inspection.
Okay, awesome. And then they can do like a la carte too, right?
Yeah, and we have a bunch of a la carte between pool leak detection, like you said, radon. We do sewer scoping. We smoke the sewer lines to see if there's any leaks underground. I mean, we have a bunch of things you can add on to it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I think you're great. I think your services are amazing. I think it's awesome to see, again, the relationship between you and Team Collie and just how much you guys really care about like servicing your customers. All of our listeners out there, you are not going to want to go away. When we come back, we will make sure that you can know how to contact all the people that are sitting here with me today, as well as we will dive deep with Jimmy Ward into why inspections are important, why it's important to work with serious realtors that know the business. We'll also give you some tips and tricks of what it's like to be a real estate agent and new on a team from Miss Carolyn. Pop in those earbuds and catch us after the break.
Biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career or what your goals are today, maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin. Happy weekend. We are so glad that you are with us. This show, as you know, is powered by the one and only Robert Palmer with LPT Realty. We are so happy to be here with you, bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. We're taking you full circle through the real estate process today. If you're an agent looking to get into real estate, maybe you're an agent wanting to scale your business in 2023, and maybe you need a team to do that, we have everybody here. We also have Jimmy Ward with Class Act Inspections, taking you through what it's like to have an inspection done on your property, why that's important, how he is that tool and piece of the puzzle so you can make the proper real estate transaction decision and know exactly what you're buying. So I'm going to turn to Miss Carolyn Vaughn. She's been on Team Collie for 11 years. Super excited to have her in the studio today. So Carolyn, why as an agent be on a real estate team? I get asked all the time, why would someone not join my team and then leave? And, my answer always is, well, we provide things of value. And I always think that one is not as good as 2, 3, and 4. Like the power in numbers is amazing, so you tell me from your perception as an agent, why it's important to be on a team and stay on a team.
So my background is not real estate. One of the questions I asked Siri when she came to me in the restaurant is, if I'm going to build a new home, do I go into the builder's model and use the builder's rep, or do I get a realtor? She said, if you went to court, would you represent yourself or would you hire representation?
That sounds like Siri.
But it's not really hiring, right? Because a buyer's agent is free to a buyer. It's no cost to a buyer. When I went into real estate, only knowing the facts that were taught in the school that I attended, the 6-week course. I told clients when I first started, if I didn't know the answer to a question, I have a great knowledge bank that I can pull from. And that knowledge bank was John and Sari Colley, who always encouraged me to ask those questions. I shadowed a lot in the beginning. I wanted to know everything. And the best way for me to learn that everything was to shadow them and see them in action. And then if I had questions, John a lot of times would say to me, what do you think? Don't second guess yourself. What do you think? And allow me to work through that verbally to him. And then he would say, you're right on the money. Or he would say, let's back up a minute. And that I was always wanting and willing to learn. And I think that's what a good team can really provide to you. They should want to help you grow your business.
I think what's awesome about being on a team too is like what people fail to understand about real estate transactions, nothing is the same.
Ever.
So it's like, when you're on a swim team, right? And you swim from point A to point B, that's how the winner's established. Like if you're a swimmer, you dive in the water and you hit to the end and like whoever gets to the end first wins. Now there's relay races and other things. But like if you're on a basketball team, you have to work with those 5 people. Like you never know how they're going to pass the ball. You never know if somebody misses a shot. You have to be ready. You got to be ready to rebound. You got to be ready to walk into that game and have maybe someone on the other team be a challenge or box you out. And that's what real estate's like for me. I tell my agents, like, you can master single family residential real estate, but it's never going to be the same. And you can master, and then how do you grow? So I guess my $1 million question for you is like, why stay 11 years? Like for all those people out there that think, well, I'm going to get on a team and then I'm going to be with them for a year and then I'm going to go start my own team. Why for you as an agent, is it like, this is a lifelong decision for me. I'm on this team and I'm staying.
We've really become family. And the support and the guidance that they provide to me, regardless of the circumstance or situation, I can't get anywhere else. I came into this business with a very set, this is what I'm able to do. This is what I want to do in this business. And John and Siri, no matter how little or how much, always say, do it. And, we joke one time, Siri and I, we do a lot of business together too. And one time she and I were traveling. We were showing like 19 properties this one day for a client in St. Pete. Our sphere is very large. So we were in St. Pete showing property and my phone rings, but I'm driving and having to know exactly where I'm going. So Siri answers the call and she says, this is Sari Colley, Carolyn Vaughn's assistant. Like there's never been this like hierarchy, they've always made me feel like as my team leaders, they're there to support me 100%.
What I love about the show the most is that, I just have this like gift, you know what I mean? Like something about it is like, I can just tap in and just kind of rip those sheets off and be vulnerable. So nobody can like see the studio or hear the studio. But as Carolyn is saying this, Siri's getting like very emotional watching her. And I think that is just a beautiful relationship to see. And I think that goes like beyond real estate to me, because when you, and it's hard, right? Because I get along with Siri because her and I are like, this is the way it is. We're hustlers. That's our job. That's our role on the team. Our role on the team is like, we get stuff done, But when you get to see somebody really care about somebody else, and I just want everyone to know, like watching Siri really care about you is just really beautiful for me to see. And so that relationship that came out of a lunch and overhearing you talk about real estate and being with her and just learning from, hear you talk about John. And it also should say to me, to everyone out there listening, that John and Siri really care about their students. I think when you really care about people's success, there's a lot of good leaders. Anybody can be a leader because lots of people like to follow. But when you're a good leader and you really care about people's success, it's amazing. So really happy to have you here, Carolyn. Really enjoy getting to know who you are as a person. And Siri doesn't like it when I talk about her. But once again, I've got to see and just showcase who really Siri is as a person and a mentor, which is someone that really just pours their heart into people. Of course, John, I know you and Siri very well. And a lot of people want to know, what is it like to be on a husband and wife team? Because now I'm going to make Siri laugh, because between you and Siri, it's not just real estate. And I know that you love telling me all these stories about the school and whatever, but tell me what it's like for you and Siri. Like, how do you walk in the door and not be the real estate team, not be the owners of the school, but just be husband and wife? Like, how do you turn that hat off?
Well, first of all, just kind of to relate to Carolyn over here, our team is not that there's a team leader. We're actually, we discuss
I know, but
things.
I want to hear about you and Siri.
We discuss things. Well, it really brings into Siri.
I want to hear about you and Siri.
We're going to keep this thing real, okay?
Okay, that's what I want.
People say, how can you work with your spouse? For as many years we have, because we had a business previous to this. Well, she sends me to where at least 3 times a day.
I love that.
But she just is real with it and just says what is on her mind. But that way there, it gets it out, it's done with, and then next thing you know, it's like, where are we having lunch at today? Or let's stop and have a cup of coffee, because it's over with. And we do that at home as well. It doesn't mean that we're angry with each other. It's just whatever's on our mind, we let it out and it's done with, it's squashed, and we move on. And that way there's nothing being built inside, no grudges. So when we walk into a transaction or we're showing property, she is more of the architectural and how things go, and me, I'm more of the structural guy. And we have our places with that. And sometimes those kind of cross lines with each other. And when it happens, well, it gets discussed right then and it gets squashed and we move on.
Well, if anyone wants to contact you, Mr. John, I think you described your relationship perfectly, by the way, and you're still going to get to sleep in your room tonight because you did a good job. So if you didn't, I know that Siri would be like, hey, John, that was really great. I had fun on the radio show, but listen, man, I didn't really approve of that. So you're going to have to be on the couch tonight.
Nope.
So you did great. So if anyone wants to contact you, Mr. John, about the Real Estate Virtual Academy or Team Collie, please give them your contact information.
Yes, you can reach Real Estate Virtual Academy at 904-990-REVA. That's 7382. If you want to reach us for real estate, you can reach me at 813-481-0588.
Miss Carolyn Vaughn, champion agent, longevity team, ride or die for Team Collie. Love it. If anyone wants to connect with a real estate agent that truly is passionate about their clients, which I know that you are, please give them your contact information.
I can be reached at 910-263-7606.
And Mr. Jimmy Ward with Class Act Inspection is going to come back after the break and walk me through start to finish how to read an inspection report. So, Jimmy, if they want to contact you, throw out those digits.
Our office number is 813-512-6918.
Today's been a great show so far. Please pop in the earbuds, download the iHeartRadio app, and catch us after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, Sunshine State Real Estate Investments team, as well as an LPT agent myself. And I love that I can bring other agents into the studio, team leads, business owners, community leaders, people that opened a brand new business in our community. We highlight it all. We discuss life, business, and of course, real estate in probably the rawest way on the radio. So today in the studio, I've made people laugh, cry happy tears, do all of the above. And I couldn't be more honored to have John and Siri Colley with Team Colley and the Real Estate Virtual Academy in the studio. One of their agents, Carolyn Vaughn, that has been with them over 11-year span, as well as Jimmy Ward with Class Act Inspections. I promised you in segment 3 that we would give you all the nuggets in segment 4 of what it's like to read an inspection report, things that agents miss, things that buyers miss. So Jimmy,
yes,
I'm going to ask you some tough questions, man. Question number 1 is going to be, what are the top 3 things an agent or a buyer should look at on an inspection report?
Top 3 things are tough. I would say first, everyone needs to understand that there's always going to be issues with a house. No house is ever perfect. Top things I would be is structural issues, automatic, electrical issues, and anything that's not going to pass for a 4-point for insurance is a big deal, because if you can't pass that, you can't get the loan and you can't get insurance. So I would say those top 3 things. Structure being number 1. Most things can be fixed in a house. GFCIs are always, leaky pipes. Those things are easily fixed. When you get an issue that comes down to the structure of the house, that's time to have that talk to how far we need to take this or want to take it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think what really shocks me too with real estate agents is they don't know how to read a report, and then they get inspectors that don't know how to guide them through that process. And so they don't understand the value of having a good inspector. So second thing I want everyone to hear is, what do you do when you're working with a newer agent, and how do you guide them through reading an inspection report?
So one of the things with all my inspectors, agents have constant contact to us. If they have questions, need something, they can call, email, text, and we get back as fast as possible. And that's a big, big thing with Class Act inspections. So somebody new, we try to do, and I hate saying this, hand-holding, but it's important because during the real estate training, I don't think that inspections are touched enough to understand exactly the purpose and how important they are for you and the client. So when we get an agent that's brand new, we make sure that they understand, if a house is a certain age, that you're going to have this on here, like 4-point. If it's over 20 years old, you're going to need a 4-point here. If the house was built after this age, make sure you get your client a wind mitigation so they can get a discount. Understand that you live in Florida and that you really need to have WDOs done on the house no matter what.
We have termites here, Jimmy.
Oh, I've heard there's a few of them around.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And then with new agents that are doing listings, we really try to encourage the pre-listing inspection to nip any of the problems in the butt before they get brought to them by the buyer's inspector for the listing agent. If you already know what the issues are in the house, you've already won half the battle in the transaction.
I love that you really care about the newer agents and that you can walk them through the process, because I think there's a lot of companies that take advantage of that. One thing, and you would love me, because I tell buyers not to go to the inspection, and I tell agents not to go to the inspection, because it's let them do their job.
You're right. I do love you now.
Yes. But what I do tell them is call 30 minutes before they're done. And if you need to go out because there's a major issue, then go out, but just review with the inspectors. I would call you and say, hey, Jimmy, what are some things I should really be concerned about, right?
So when that's something you brought up there, if the agent isn't there, we will call them if we run into something that we see that is maybe a turning point in the transaction. So we'll call the agent and say, hey, look, we just ran into this. Here's what's going on. And then usually what will happen is we'll get on a 3-way call with the buyer and the agent and discuss it as we're going through the process. No matter what, at the end of the inspection, we're walking the client through and the agent through the house of our findings.
That's awesome.
So it's important. And the reason we do it is so they come back and we have a good communication and family built. I've been working with John and Siri for quite a few years now. And I can tell you that John feels very comfortable reaching out to me at 9 o'clock at night, and I am comfortable answering at 9 o'clock at night to help because
Now,
I know
I would think that Siri would be the one to call you at 9.
text.
Oh, she's a texter. You know what? She's actually a Facebook Messenger.
Yep, text and Facebook
Yes.
message. As soon as I hear the ding, I know the call's
And it's like
coming
this
next.
long, right, Jimmy? Like it's not like it's nothing quick like, hey, Bets, what's up? It's like, brrrr. And I'm like, wow, Siri, did you take a really long time to write this? Or like, she must be one of those
Speak to talk.
Speak to talk. She's got it, John. Is she a speak to talker?
Speak to text.
I'll plead the fifth on that one.
Okay. So yeah, Jimmy, I think that's awesome. I love what you do. I think it's great. If anyone wants to connect with Class Act, we'll throw out Jimmy's number at the end. John, I want to bring it back to you before we run out of time. So I really want you to tell the listeners out there, there's a lot of people that do a lot of different businesses, you know, and they work with their spouses. And I think it's important for you to give them a really good piece of information of how do you keep things alive in the business, in the personal relationship when you're working with your spouse.
Well, first of all, in any relationship that you're going to have, you know, it's not one dominant over the other one. You're as a team, you're as a unit. When you get married, you're bonding each other together as a single unit. So therefore, back to military talk, then that means that you need to function as one. So there is not a dominant, you know, one with it. There's not one person that's in charge. It's something that you need to be able to communicate through and be able to decide unity in the decision process. So whether it be at home or whether it be in business or whatever the case may be, it's something you want to communicate. And there's always the thing that I feel that a lot of people don't do is that they don't ask the other ones questions. They don't ask them what their thoughts are, how they feel. They just want to say, well, this is what I want to do, and so that's the course that you go down. And I think that's when friction comes into play. So like I said before, whether you be at home or whether you be out on the workspace or whether you be out with clients, you work together. And I'll tell you something, as real estate agents, as working together, clients love that. They love that relationship that we can show to them. And, you know, say if the husband and I may be relating and the wife and the client's wife, you know, we relate to each other and they respect that. And I think that's where we get a lot of repeat business is because they see us as real.
Well, John, now you know that I'm single. So like, is there a way to clone you? Or like multiply you? Because like for a guy to say, hey, I want to ask a woman how they feel. Mm-hmm. I mean, John, Siri better be lucky because if I put you on that show called The Bachelor, you'd be taken, man.
Well, she's more than enough for me, so I can't be spread out.
I'm telling you right now, man, I can imagine. Well, John, if someone wants to connect with you with the Real Estate Virtual Academy and Team Colleague, could you please give them your contact information?
Yes, for the Real Estate Virtual Academy, in case you want to get a real estate license, you can reach us at 904-990 REVA, that's 7382. For our real estate, you can reach us at 813-481-0588 or more. You can reach Siri at 813-766-2009.
And Miss Carolyn, final thoughts for the listeners. What do you got for me?
I think for the listeners, if you're a new agent and you're looking to be part of a team, make sure there's no I in that team.
I love that. That's amazing, Carolyn. Could you give everyone your phone number if they want to contact you?
I can be reached at 910-263-7606.
And Mr. Jimmy Ward with Class Act Inspections, if there's an agent out there, a buyer out there, just somebody out there that wants to dig deep and talk about mold and termites, could you give your contact information?
Our office number is 813-512-6918.
Well, that's a wrap for today. For all my listeners out there, we just want to thank you for your loyalty. And we know that we try to bring you the raw and real of business, life, and of course, real estate. We hope that you had an insightful past hour listening to us. We really like to make sure that we bring you the full-fledged ecosystem in the real estate community. So if you're interested in LPT, or you're interested in being on a real estate team, or just want to shoot real estate, maybe get into real estate school, make sure you reach out to John Colley. They're a great way to start and connect with people. For everybody out there that also joined us last weekend at the Invest Tour, we just want to thank you, because we really had a great time bonding with everybody, providing them resources, just allowing you to be inspired and motivated. If you missed us, the tour is coming to Orlando April 22nd, and you can contact me for more information. It's 813-609-0229. Again, don't forget to download the iHeartRadio app. You can find us on the iHeartRadio every weekend. And until next time, friends.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinervin.